Inside MLFB on SGPN is presented by WinBet. Bet $50 at WinBet and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WinBet. Download the WinBet app now or visit wynnbet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by Sleeper. You already play fantasy on Sleeper, but now you could win cold hard cash with their over-under game. Just head to sleeper.com/SGP on your phone to join the SGPN group, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100. That's sleeper.com/SGP. We're also brought to you by IPVanish. IPVanish is the official VPN of SGPN, and they're offering 70% off. If you go to IPVanish.com/SGP, that's IPVanish.com/SGP. And make sure to check out our new Discord server, the perfect place to interact and sweat bets with the entire SGPN crew. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord.
Joining us today on Inside MLFB, JJ Coyne, Executive Vice President of Major League Football. JJ, an incredibly busy man. Thank you for taking some time to spend it with us and talk. How you doing today?
I am doing great. Busy, like you said. It's a pleasure to be here.
And how you handling this Mobile Gulf Coast heat?
I grew up in Pensacola, just down the road here, and they call it L.A., Lower Alabama. So this was it was easy for me, and I came up from Tampa, so I've been getting acclimated for the last 10 years or so. So I enjoy it.
So you're set. This is a homecoming of sorts for you.
It is, of course.
And so, JJ, you have an extensive career serving our country in the Navy. First off, thank you for your service, sir.
You're certainly welcome.
How did those experiences, can you just expand on those experiences and how they prepared you for your role with Major League Football?
Well, I think in a number of fronts it did. When I came in the Navy first, I was an enlisted service member. I was what they called a storekeeper in the Navy, and I worked up from E1 to E6, E7 as a chief. I was when I got commissioned as a limited duty officer, and then I worked as an ensign up through commander, lieutenant commander, when I retired. A lot of the stuff that I did was inventory management, financial management, budgeting. All of that stuff has come in, tenfold now with this, for the different things. Warehousing, obviously something big we're doing in San Antonio and moving things. Just moving things, just in the different communities that I worked in the Navy. I was in the submarine community, I was on the surface community and the aviation community. You would think we're in the Navy, it's all three different enterprises, and they talk differently amongst them. Now, as some of the global war stuff has gone on through the years, there's been much more inter-service, and then even within the services, there's been more languages that they're sharing instead of them all being different. But being forward deployed, being in a place like Guam and getting things, it's sometimes a logistical challenge. And I certainly am not comparing this to Guam, but we had a warehouse in San Antonio, and fairly recently we called the audible, using some football terms, we called the audible to have our camp in Alabama versus Texas. We have a solution to play in Texas, but it was going to take too long for us to resolve it in time to have cleats in the grass this year. So we made the call to move over to Alabama, which then presented its own set of challenges, getting everything we had in Texas to Alabama in order to have a camp like this. That's multiple semi-trucks making its way across the country so that we could unpack it here and sort it out for the four teams that we're going to be playing. So a lot of that stuff came in very handy, as we started to plan that out very quickly.
So after being forward deployed in a place like Guam, moving a football league seems like a little easy, seems like child's play a little bit. It's a walk in the park.
It does. It certainly has its challenges. I know when we first started, we talked about having all of these players come together, and somebody said, well, now you got to feed them all. And my boss brought up that my last operational tour in the Navy was the services officer on an aircraft carrier. So I had about 550 people that worked for me, with me, but we were serving 5,500 people on deployment. So serving several hundred to play football Although the appetites might be a little bigger, it's it was not a layup, but certainly, I mean, you've got sources all over the place to help you, resources to help do that.
It was a nice mid-range jumper instead of the downtown shot.
That's right. That's right.
So, you mentioned bringing everything from San Antonio to Mobile, and that just seems like in itself it's been a massive challenge. I know we were at equipment distribution where you had 4 teams trying to come through and get all their equipment. Can you just talk about, the efforts of your staff? You have a great group of equipment managers, you have a great group of football ops, and there's a great group of athletic trainers who just have been working tirelessly. And how important are those people to the success of this venture?
Oh, you can't do it without these guys, and I'll tell you and rightfully so. The football players and the coaches, they get the publicity and all. I'm used to that. As I mentioned, we served. That was my title was Servo, Services Officer. That's what I've done my whole career. My whole career has been about getting the right part to the right place at the right time. That mentality I used in all enterprises in the Navy, and it has come in perfectly harmonious right here. We had the warehouse over there in San Antonio. Started out at 20,000 square feet. We got rid of some things, pared it down, and now we were in about 10,000 square feet of warehouse out there. Did we need everything from there to here? No, but most of it we did in order to pull this off. So we had a warehouse crew over there. We could not have done it without them. Getting stuff together, getting it organized, getting it separated out by teams. When we got it, it was just a pile of stuff. Mm-hmm. We started to organize it, and then we started to position it into teams. And then when the time came, instead of backing it off the warehouse there and taking it over to a field in the San Antonio area, we were loading it onto the truck and bringing it here. We then had a team unload it here, and then we organized it again back into the 4 team layouts, and then we got it set up to where the teams would come over one at a time, and we started to issue to them the things that they needed to get on the field and play football. So throughout time, throughout the different, both in the Navy and post-Navy, the commodities may have changed from submarine parts to aviation parts to surface ship parts to medical devices to video services, those types of things. It's all changed. Now it's football stuff. It's helmets and shoulder pads and those things. And just getting it where it needs to be in order to accomplish the mission. And that mission is to have a training camp, get these football players here and get them ready. And I am a huge proponent of those guys behind the scenes. It can't happen without them. It can't happen without them, and they do not have a bigger advocate on the staff than I do. And these guys love them. The coaches love them. The executive management team loves them. But I am here to make sure that they understand the significance of what they are to this mission. It cannot be done. And it's the same thing in the Navy. As we were feeding people, the dishwashers, those the veg prep people, the guys doing the laundry. Is it the same thing as flying a jet off the carrier? No, it's different, but it still doesn't happen without those guys. And I'm a support guy through and through. So I love working with this group, and they are terrific. They have answered the call time and time again, and it is long days, short staff. It's no complaining. These guys are tearing it up, making big things happen.
And make sure to check out our new Discord server, the perfect place to interact and sweat bets with the entire SGPN crew. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/discord. Did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right, without added security, you might as well give away all your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. That's why I use IPVanish VPN to make it easy to stay truly private and secure on the internet. IPVanish helps you safely browse the internet by encrypting 100% of your data. This means that your private details, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. It's that simple. You can use IPVanish on unlimited devices without sacrificing on speed. Your computers, tablets, phones, even devices like your Fire Stick when you're streaming media. Whether I'm at home or in public, I don't go online anymore without using IPVanish. IPVanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's just like getting 9 months for free. IPVanish is super easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're instantly protected. You won't even know it's on. Stop sharing with the world everything you stream, everything you search for, and everything you buy. Take your privacy back today with the brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. So go to ipvanish.com/SGP and use promotional code SGP and claim your 70% savings. That's ipvanish.com/SGP.
So you talked about the challenges of moving everything from the warehouse to Mobile, but you've got about a week and a half now, and then you have to get everything out into host cities. What's that process look like of getting gear ready to go to Little Rock, to Virginia Beach, and to Canton to get ready?
Well, certainly early on, that 50,000 view planning is happening already. It's happened as we've worked our way to here, as we know that there's going to be a couple weeks here, there's going to be changes with the football teams, we're then going to be moving a couple teams out to go to where the next, where the other game is going to be playing in week 1. And that's all. We've learned some lessons as recent as probably today, certainly yesterday, that, okay, we're going to need to do something a little different. So some stuff that we left in San Antonio is getting loaded on a truck now and it'll be pre-positioned into those areas, into those team cities. And so working out the relationships there to make sure that we've got somebody to receive those things, somebody to make sure it's stowed properly, that it's secure. And then we're going to have, when we leave here, there'll be players will be carrying some bags with their personal equipment, so that if that truck happens to break down along I-95 or wherever it's at, we're not going to hold them up from practicing. So we'll have that set up to where there's some things that'll go along with the players. But as soon as we say go and we're finished up here, those first couple teams leaving, the trucks will be moving ahead of them to greet them when they do touch down on their planes into those towns. And so they're ready to practice up for a week leading up to the game.
Good. And that's great to hear that everything's already starting to happen, and as the logistics man, you always got to be thinking 4, 5, 6 steps ahead. How are the preparations going for the spring 23 season?
They are already going. I mean, we've talked about, obviously, as we do this, we have learned so much. We've learned so much about, the manning levels and where we need to be and what we need to line up in some of these places. This is and we're already, we're learning, we're meeting some new people, the hoteliers, the town councils, the chambers, those people we're meeting and establishing relationships with. So next time it's not, who do we find on a Google search? We already got a number in there, and we call and we say, can you help us with this? The Visit Mobile Bureau has been fantastic. The sports, I know I'll say it wrong, the Sports Commission here has just been an incredibly helpful group with us, and we couldn't do it without them and their corporate knowledge here in the area. We will use that going forward. So, next year, Mobile and these other cities that we're going to play in, I'll say there'll be a layup. That's probably a stretch. But then what we've learned from here, we then can take in for those initial dives into the other cities that we're going to play in.
What's one of the biggest things that you guys have learned and the biggest benefit that you've had doing this first demonstration season and doing training camp in one? What's the biggest lesson you're going to carry over into the spring 23 season?
Well, we've always felt like our training camp, our model has always had a training camp being in a central place. The timing of our regular season will be April, I'm just rounding, April will be our camp month. May and June is our regular season, and then we'd finish up early in July. That's kind of the window of the calendar we're looking at. That's the sweet spot that we've been studying for years. So this right here is great practice for us. This is great doing it on such a short timeline to get it here. Oh my gosh, to think that we may have months to do it at other places. I'm like, good night, Irene. I think it'd be great for us to get this experience is tremendous for all of us across the board. And at the end of our championship game, we'll stick around. We're going to stick around in Canton for a couple days, and we'll all huddle together and say, all right, great job. We'll bust our arms patting ourselves on the back about getting through this. But it's immediately the focus is now completely off what just happened, and what do we got to do to make that happen? Well, we'll go through all the lessons learned, all of the things that we knew to help preparing, and we'll we'll have a timeline on what we need to do in order to get into each of those markets, to come back to these markets and go from there. So it's tremendous for us to have this it's an abbreviated, it's a condensed season.
The demonstration season's beneficial for y'all.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it's beneficial, I think, in a lot of fronts. Yeah.
So you've been with the league for 8+, almost 9 years now. How does it feel to finally get to training camp and seeing the season right on the horizon? It's unbelievable. It's a dream job, really. It is working here, working with the startup. Being able to wear so many different hats through the time and just get that experience as it's going. And we've done it in different markets. We spent a lot of time in Florida, and that's where our headquarters at, Lakewood Ranch, getting to know those folks, getting to get camp set up there, getting to meet these new markets going into them. It is, I can't tell you, just out there today, as busy as I was, and my phone is constantly ringing. Every call generates 10 more calls, and I miss so many of them, and there's so many things to do. But today, when I walked out there for just a couple minutes and watched them playing football on the field, I can't tell you, just the feeling, it was tremendous. A lot has gone into this. A lot of iterations, a lot of different things, a lot of hurdles that we've cleared, some setbacks along the way, but we have remained steadfast. And now here we are. We're playing football, man. That's exciting.
Make sure you get down on the Wynn's Bet 50 Win $200 promotion, where a $50 bet qualifies you for up to $200 in free bets. If you're bet $500 on sports or casino before July 31st, 2022, get entered to win the ultimate fantasy football draft experience at Encore Beach Club, including a 2-night stay at Wynn Resorts for you and your entire league. Multiple entries allowed. There's so much to choose from, and all you have to do is download the WynnBet app or visit wynnbet.com to get started. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at wynnbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WynnBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Now on to Sleeper. Sleeper is the fastest growing fantasy platform today with millions of players. You probably already have a fantasy league on there. I use it for mine. It's a game-changing product unlike anything else in the industry, and now you can make money on Sleeper too by playing their new over-under game. It's super simple. First, in any sport, choose 2 or more players that you like and pick the over-under. For example, number of points in basketball or hits in baseball. Then choose the amount of money you want to enter into the contest. If you pick correctly, you can win anywhere from 2x to over 20x the money you put in. The main reason I'm excited for Over Under on Sleeper, it's that it's the only app where I can join my buddies' contests and play together. It's got a built-in group chat where I can see and copy my friends' picks with the tap of a button. It's insanely fun to ride it out together. Stop what you're doing and download Sleeper now to play their new Over Under game. Have fun with your friends and make some money. On your mobile phone, join our listener group on Sleeper at sleeper.com/SGP, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100. That's right. Join our squad and get the 100% deposit match at sleeper.com/SGP.
So we're obviously here in Mobile. What are your plans for week one? Are you going to be in Virginia Beach, or are you going to be in Mobile for the opening weekend?
I'm going to be here in Mobile. I don't know that I've cleared that with everybody yet, but my plan is to go to each of the markets this year. So my plan is to do Mobile in week one, go up to Canton in week two for the launch up there in Ohio. Yep. I'll move over to Arkansas for week three, and then Virginia for week four. That's my plan. Now, there is a guy I answer to, and he might tell me, nice try, but that's the plan as it stands. And we, as the executive management team, will kind of divide and conquer to make sure that there is the right representation, both from a league level and from the franchise level at each of these venues as we go into each of these games. We want to make sure that we're setting all these games up for success, and that we've got the right people we're talking to. We're inviting the right people into the games and so on. So I'll probably jump around to each of the markets during this season.
So speaking to the equipment staff yesterday, one of the young men, I was talking with him, and there was almost a Bull Durham vibe when I was talking to him. He gave a Crash Davis-esque speech about what it was like in the show. Do you feel that this league can not only be a springboard for players, but also for people behind the scenes like this young man, athletic trainers, maybe executives? Do you feel that working in an environment like this can help springboard a career into the NFL?
Absolutely. Certainly if that's what you want to do, right? I think that this opportunity here, it is great for the football players. That is obvious. If we have a football player that gets called up to an NFL roster and he sticks on that roster, that's win, win, win. We win. That's kind of our charter. We've developed a player. The player wins because he gets to go to that pinnacle, the National Football League, to play. We love them. We are completely non-adversarial with the NFL. We have a great relationship with them. So the other win is the NFL gets a player that's ready to go. You know, with some of the practices through the years, when they start to limit that things, some of the guys deeper on the roster may not get the opportunities to really get out there and play. And we know from our studies that NFL Europe was able to get a lot of players that may not have otherwise got onto a roster. You know, it's over 300 players that played there that eventually got to an NFL roster. And if we can get one, that's wonderful. If we can get a bunch, that's great. I mean, that's us for the players part of it. We think, you know, I talked with our chief marketing officer quite a bit about it, and he likes those. You know, that's obviously a great story when we've got a player that goes to the NFL and sticks. But there's a lot of other players on the roster. He wants to get to know all of them. He wants the public to get to know them. The people certainly in those markets. We want to get that name recognition. You know, and for us, if a guy stays in a market after the season, ends up coming back for another year, and he gets embedded in there, well, I think that's great for both the market and that player. So the players part of it, that's fairly obvious. But the same thing for the coaches. We've got some coaches with deep experience. We've got some young coaches too. They're getting honed right now to maybe get the exposure that they need to get called up to an NFL program. And same thing with the equipment managers, same thing with the field operator. All right, so just you know, I think it's a great opportunity for people across the entire spectrum. And as I mentioned, I love my support guys. I loved them in the Navy. I love them here. And I think it's a great opportunity for them to get that exposure, to get that experience. So when they float a resume up to to their favorite NFL team, it's not just a pipe dream. It's a reality that they have the experience where they could step in there and become part of that as well. So I think it's a great opportunity from the best head coach we've got down to the guy that's working the chains on the game day.
Now, we've heard it said that if a player gets called up, league executives have said they'd drive the player right to the airport the second the game's over, maybe even sooner.
Well,
Would you
yep.
do the same thing with the equipment man if he gets the call to go to the show? Are you going to take him up right in the middle, or are you going to make him wait a little bit?
He might have to wait till the third quarter. No, I would. I've joked about that a lot. If a player is called up, I'll drive him to the airport at halftime if that's what you want. We'd like him to finish up for the fans that he's there to show off for and perform for. But if they want him, you got him. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? Same thing with the equipment managers. If there's somebody that they see with us and they're like, we have got to have this guy on our staff, yeah, well, I'll drive them to the airport. I'll drive them during the game to the airport if that's what the NFL wants.
So, JJ, just last thing as we're wrapping up here. You talked about your investment, you talked about, wanting to provide these opportunities, but what's at the core? Why do you believe in Major League Football? Why have you dedicated near a decade now to this league and this dream?
I just feel like it's such a tremendous opportunity for those things that we've just talked about. There's only so many seats on that NFL bus, right? And when you think about coming out of high school, how many go to college to play football? And then college, it goes from high school to college, and then it goes to the NFL. There's other leagues, and some of them may be just a chance to play a couple more years of football, but I think that it's such an incredible opportunity for these guys to get that chance to hone those skills so that they can go up and be successful in the NFL. We can set them up. We can help them attain their goals. And I think that's just remarkable. And again, it's not just the players, it's everybody. It's a chance for people to continue to work in this field, to work in football, to work in sports. I broke a record, I'm sure, but it's a dream job. It's a dream job for me, and I know it is for a lot of these guys, both the quarterbacks, the kickers, the linebackers, the coaches, the equipment guys, the field operators, the video operators, a chance for them to take that skill set up to the pinnacle. I think it is just, to me, it's a league of repetitions, it's a league of opportunity, and it's something that we need. Football is so popular in America, yet when you look at the farm system, some people say it's college. Man, there's hundreds of games going on the weekend. Friday night is high school, all weekend is college, the NFL on Sundays. This is, in the spring, we're going to be able to showcase these guys, showcase these talents, showcase these things without them having to pick one of the hundreds of channels. They get to focus on a couple of games. But there's so much, there's such an appetite for it. The leagues, although they may not have lasted, we hope that ours is different. I say we're going to be different. I don't think that's cocky. They've been successful. There's an appetite for it. They've proven the concept. There needs to be more football. And so that's what we're going to provide. I mean, look at baseball. It's very popular. Look how big the farm system is for that. That's not available for football. We hope to be that. There's other leagues that are looking in the same time. Bring them on. Major League Football is going to provide an opportunity for football players and other personnel within the football industry, an opportunity to get that chance. Because maybe they didn't make the 53-man roster in the NFL. Maybe they're that close. Maybe there's just something they need to do, and that's our hope, is to get them guys right to the finish line.
So, JJ, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy man. Thank you for sitting down with us here, and looking forward to everything that happens, and best of luck with getting everything moving logistically.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to some football. Thank you.